Hello, I'm PS3 and welcome back to the video. Today I have a downloaded copy of the Tumble map as well as all of the brand new battle maps because I wanted to go outside all of them and show you some of the secrets that you might not have known about because the battle maps and the Tumble map are all designed to be played within very specific bounds. Even when you spectate, you can't really get too far, but if we're in creative, which we are right now, and if we can go outside the bounds of the map, that means we can see a whole bunch of stuff that we weren't necessarily meant to see and see a whole range of secrets and stuff that again weren't really meant to be accessible by us, and I think it'd be kind of cool to show you all of these in today's video. That's what I'm doing. Hopefully you all do enjoy it. Like it if you do like it because it helps out the channel, and let's know you do like to see the outside battle map secrets. And yeah, it's really cool in my opinion to see these maps from a brand new fresh perspective. And let's start with the Tumble map. So yeah, this is the map on which you obviously played Tumble. Obviously the arenas, they kind of generate here in the center. Sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller. But yeah, you're probably familiar with this area because when you die in Tumble, you turn into a bat and you can spectate the center, or you can look around and you can see all the cool things they've done here. Again, I really love this area and I want to use it for a minigame at some point. Like, maybe replace this and make my own Skywars here because it is just this amazing little area to build with. But I also have a lot of curiosities when I look around, and the first one is like, is this a real desert temple? And the first clue that gave it away that maybe it wasn't is the fact that this is actually made from orange wool and not orange stained clay. They changed that somewhat recently, so again, this is like an old school desert temple. But the other thing that made it kind of weird is the fact that there's some orange like wool poking out here, and as it turns out, this isn't in fact a real desert temple. It is in fact one they either built by hand or copy pasted, because below it is another desert temple. That's right, when you dig below this desert temple, where you'd usually find loot and stuff, all you find instead is you find just another one of these. So the reason for this, I guess, is because the actual kind of bottom of this is found over here. So you go down there and then you can detonate the TNT and stuff. But yeah, it was really intriguing to me the fact that obviously, also this isn't the right size if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I was really intrigued by the fact that they have a desert temple, but it's not a real one, which means they either copy pasted it, then removed the thing, or they actually built it by hand, which is the way the rest of us were, which is pretty darn cool that they could build stuff like the desert temple, or indeed the ocean monument, which if you look over here, as you can see, not a real one at all, because this isn't how the rooms generate, with stone below there. That these aren't real structures, they are ones that they either pasted a little bit off, or just built entirely by hand, which, makes the map even more impressive, at least to me. Again, I quite like this map a bit, but one of the things I did find really intriguing, because obviously we know that all these maps are built over a super flat, so in case you figured the map went on forever and it was actually a real thing going that high, it's not, it's built over a super flat. But there's a lot of questions I have to ask when it comes to this super flat, because this clearly isn't built using traditional tools, because one, it doesn't go to the chunk boundaries. You'd figure if it was like some weird PC tool, they just convert the console, it'd go to each, like chunk boundaries little thing, but this seems to just randomly go in, out, up, down by like random amounts. So it goes up by 3 blocks there, it goes into a corner there, it goes down by 4 blocks there. There's a lot of weird stuff like this that isn't necessarily going to be seen by anyone, but makes me think just how powerful, the tools they have to make custom maps actually are. And I don't know if they have these tools on the PC or if they have them on development Xboxes or whatever, but as it turns out, 4J have some pretty powerful tools to make terrain, and it makes me really excited for the idea that if custom terrain ever does come to console and we have access, even in some form, as unlikely that is to this sort of stuff, you can see just how, many cool things there are to, the fact that all this terrain, making it look this amazing was pretty easy to do as it turns out. So, yeah, as well as that though, a couple of interesting things you might know is that because this is, again, it's floating at a very weird amount, you can actually fly from here, like, into ravines and into caves and stuff like that. So we take a night vision potion, because it probably would have been better to do that before, but yeah, if we go into a night vision potion, you can see all the ores are there naturally, these caves generate just fine and naturally, and they'd even spawn mobs if we turned on, mob spawning and stuff, which is really, really intriguing. So yeah, the tools they use are pretty powerful, it looks like, because they can have land which floats very arbitrary amounts above very arbitrary amounts. And also just a thing that I was very curious about is the fact that there is a nether portal on this map, and I always want to fly into it as a bat, or I don't always want to, I always do fly into it as a bat, but it never actually takes me anywhere. But I was curious, does it actually do anything? And evidently, because they realized that I guess not, then what you can see here is just a regular old super flat with just 7 blocks of netherrack, and that's about it. So yeah, the nether is actually quite a boring place. There's no secrets. I think they give it a look around and be like, oh, maybe there's something here, but no, they didn't intend you to get to the nether, so they just kind of built a portal and nothing else. So the other thing like this, just in case you are curious, is the end, which I believe is pretty much the same thing, and it's found just over, okay, one of these things, there's a stronghold. It's found just over here. There is an end portal fully formed. Again, you're not able to fly into it, but if you could, it's just a regular end fight. So yeah, that is, this is the, oh, okay, this is, the Tumble map, But let's move on to everyone's favorite battle map next, because there's so many cool secrets to be found there too. So here we are on Shrunk, and yeah, I figured if I said everyone's favorite battle map, everyone knows exactly what that is, because yeah, Shrunk is one of the coolest ideas for anything in Minecraft, but it's also just one of the more intriguing battle maps to play because of the vertical. You know, just making everything big in Minecraft to make you small makes a very interesting build in any sense, especially when it comes to battles. So yeah, the reason we are here on the large variant, which you can tell because the acoustic guitar turns electric, yeah, we're here on the large variant because I wanted to kind of look around the outside, because obviously when you're tiny and everything else is big, it makes you just really curious about what's going on the outside. For instance, through this window you can see there's like a giant shed. What's going on with that shed? Or something like a shed, I assume. Maybe it's just another house, you can't be so sure. It makes you curious, what's outside the house? And there's a few things like this, and although there's nothing, you know, particularly massive, like you don't break through that door and there's suddenly like a secret kitchen hinting at a brand new map. If you break through the door, in case you're curious, you just see like a flatland world with a hedge outside it. But yeah, in case you are curious, the secrets of this map mostly rely around the fact that when you go outside, you see a few things that, to me at least, blow my mind. So yeah, let's break out here. I made my own little, doorway already. So yeah, first of all, as you can see, these fences and this hedge, one, they cover a pretty huge distance, but two, they're actually absolutely massive. So let's show you what this means by height. So bear in mind, to build something this scale, if you want to have even one build in the background, you need to have a hedge which goes up, what is this, like something like 40 blocks just to make it look like a real hedge. But then the house over there, because it's so far away and because they need to make it this way, it goes all the way down from the ground height, which is like Y10 or something like that, Y13. It goes all the way from ground height all the way up to a height it's kind of unbelievable because it's well into the Y180s. So Y180, Y190s it turns out, is the height of this thing, which is ridiculous when you really think about it. So yeah, as well as having that real insanity, you know, of like a building size in the background, like you really can't appreciate how big it is till you get kind of close and see it compared to some clouds. Big stuff. And if you want to make some big builds, then evidently you need to make a lot of time investment to do something cool like this. And that's honestly one of the things that makes me appreciate this map so much, is that, you know, it seems relatively simple on the surface to build just a giant map, but it took a lot of effort. And in fact, they actually posted a recent like development blog on this whole thing, and actually allows us to see not only, you know, secrets of the present day version of it, but also of the past. Because down here, where there currently is just a dinosaur, there used to be an entire village that was meant to be like a playset village. Again, I'll show you screenshots on screen right now. There's a lot of other development images of like when they slowly built the stuff with just red blocks to make it happen. And yeah, you can see the effort that went into this map, and it's perhaps one of the coolest, not only battle maps, but just things that have been built on console ever. So yeah, a few other things that you might not have spotted is that these ceiling lamps, the way they did these to make them look recessed, which is pretty impressive if you ask me, and the way they made the ceiling look like a suspended one is by just placing string everywhere and using carpet. So let me actually show you just how these things work, because this is actually a pretty cool, mind-blowing technique to me, the fact that they just have carpet which then slowly fades out to make it look. I know, I really love the appearance it provides while still letting kind of light through. Again, very intriguing stuff, but also as well as that, and the fact that, by the way, there's if you look around this map, clearly they, you know, maybe someone was just messing around on lunch, but you can see there's a lot of just random blocks that have been placed, which I thought was very, very intriguing. But also, if you go all the way back here, they were doing some amount of testing and didn't remove it later on, they just buried it. So, for instance, if we dig down here, you can see here's their testing for, like, you know, slime stuff they wanted to do, but as well as testing for their slime stuff, they also built a test for the wither somewhere around here. Okay, it's just over here, because if you look below ground, you can find, you know, outside the map, just lots of random tests for stuff like the wither and stuff like that, and I think that's really, really cool, you know, the fact that, because obviously they weren't expecting anyone to get out here, you can see some, you know, intriguing bits of redstone that have just been buried. So yeah, you can see the testing versions of this map in quite a few different ways, as well as the final version. So yeah, Shrunk, really cool map. Doesn't have quite so many secrets, but the ones I did find were quite, you know, weird to me. And let's move on from this to the next battle map, which is the Halloween one. Okay, so here we are on the Halloween battle map. So I believe this is the most expensive, technically, of all of them, because it's like double as much per map as any other map. So is it double as good with double as many secrets? Well, I don't know if I can say either of those things are true, but I can say that, rather intriguingly to me at least, a lot of the assets in this map actually are directly reused. You might be like, oh yeah, I kind of recognize this house from the, the mashup pack world. I kind of recognize this, that, and that. Yeah, a lot of these assets, I don't know how they copy-paste them. Again, it kind of hints that the tool they use to make these maps is pretty powerful. But yeah, a lot of these tools you will recognize from a lot of people builds, you will recognize from the Halloween mashup packs, such as this. It's one of the places where minecarts meet, and in fact, it even has some of the, you know, stuff that would go with the minecarts, like the buttons here, still in here. Obviously, the minecart rail is gone, and the minecart itself is, but you can kind of see how, yeah, they just kind of took the whole thing and put it in the background, which is, again, intriguing to say the least to me. But what I found even more interesting than that, as far as like copy-paste tools goes, is the fact that either the map was going to be bigger at some point, or they copy-paste this map, you know, these things from somewhere else where there originally was a chest and didn't remove it. So yeah, if you're curious as to what I mean by that, basically right now, the edge of the map is right over here. You know, there's just forest, and you can't get beyond here, even though there's laughing mushrooms and big oak trees and stuff. But if you look around each of these 3 oak trees, there's an oak tree. Oh, I don't know if they're oak trees, but, you know, there's a tree there, a giant tree there, and a giant tree there. You notice how from the outside, they're all suspiciously similar. Maybe there's some slight changes, but they look pretty darn similar to me. But the thing that confirms they're actually the exact same tree is if you look on the inside, so we'll do this for each of the 3 of them, you can see how there's like a little bit of magma on the floor here, followed by a chest. Then the chest is entirely empty, of course. It doesn't fill up like a battle chest. Also, by the way, if you look up there, you can see how, you know, it goes to a second floor. So then if we move on from this, you know, this first, like, you know, weird kind of oaky tree to the next one, then this is where things get really interesting because, you know, at first it seems like it's hinting at, oh, there is secret chests in this map. Like it's, you know, like it's a weird, you know, battle map area that you're not meant to be able to get to. Then the second chest has the exact same thing, the same pattern, with the same hole in the ceiling, which leads through the same stuff over and over again. And, you know, 2 times is like a coincidence. Maybe, again, they were going for something weird. But the fact that there's a third, you know, one of these, quite some distance away in another part of the map, at the very edge, like literally poking off, is what makes me very confused by this. Because, again, the exact same thing going on here. It's some magma, followed by a, you know, chest, followed by a hole in the ceiling, which goes to another hole. And, yeah, I guess this means that clearly the 4J team have some copy-paste tools, because no one's doing exactly the same thing with a chest, which is a mistake, by the way, by hand. So, yeah, that confirms that not only do they have some form of tools to make biomes appear out of nowhere, they have a way to copy-paste blocks, which, you know, a part of me thinks, oh, well, if that's possible, then maybe the structure block is, but still, I find this very, very intriguing, the fact that, again, these are just the same builds, and there's 3 of them, and you don't really notice when you're playing the map, but that's actually how that goes. Another thing that intrigues me about this map, and again, kind of hints that they do have some tools for that, is that if you look over here, you know, usually they don't do the interiors of far-out buildings, no games really do, but this one actually does have a full-on interior. There's like a bed up here with like a tree poking through, there's a library down here, and even down here, there's a painting on the wall, which you would never be able to see because it's sideways to the thing, as well as some carpet here, which again, just a little bit intriguing to say the least. So, yeah, exactly what's going on with this map is, I have to assume it's just like, oh, well, they threw some assets in there, kind of made them work together. I really do quite like the design of this map, and then they made this a thing. So before we, you know, leave this one, I did want to show you one more secret, which is inside the map, but I never see people do. You can actually climb this rail along here. So, yeah, you start the rail all the way down here of the haunted house. If you follow it up, which takes, you know, maybe 2 minutes or something, or like a whole minute, basically, you can follow it all the way to this chest, get one chest, and then all the way into here, and get a second chest. Then when you're up here, you've got a pretty powerful position on the map, because, again, no one really knows you can get up here, and it's just so much higher than anything else. So, yeah, useful little pro tip is you can actually go into this house up here, and there's not many other things that you could, or any other battle maps at all, where you can go this high up. So, yeah, if you want to, like, play hide and seek on this map, or whatever the reasoning is, which, by the way, I think this one would be a cool one to do on, then I would say this is something rather cool. And yeah, that is the Halloween battle map. It's different to all the other ones, but I wouldn't say it's significantly better. And in fact, a lot of the things you learn from this map, as far as secrets go, kind of hint that they have some magical tools to make, you know, particularly you know, stuff like this a little bit easier. So yeah, I was intrigued. Maybe you are too. But let's move on to Atlantis next, because Atlantis has something even more intriguing and confusing to me. So yeah, let's go there now. So this is Atlantis. This is, you know, obviously a map based on the Greek mashup pack, and interestingly enough, something you might not have known if you haven't played it too much, it's the only map which uses almost exclusively double chests. So even the center, it's made from double chests, which means it has 6 chests instead of 5. Again, just a tiny little bit of detail that you might have otherwise missed, and this is only on the large variant. On the small variant, it uses small still, but yeah, it's intriguing to me, the fact that it has double the chest space, not that it uses it. But yeah, the thing that's so interesting about this map is nothing on the inside, because this really is, you know, it's a part of the, you know, Greek mashup pack world. They just kind of fixed in. Let's break a lot of glass for fun. But yeah, it's not that to me. It's the fact that if we drink ourselves, so let's find a night vision potion and then a water breathing potion, and let's take both of these at the same time so we can actually see through the water. It's the outside of this map that really interests me, because again, it's the tools they have, and it's just how powerful they actually are, as well as some of the weird things they apparently do. So yeah, if we actually you know, look around, you can see how the Atlantis world is on this like weird little, I guess, like separated chunk. Like, there's a little bit of a dividing line between the chunks Atlantis is on and then the rest, which then goes into this weird like sand, like bottom of the ocean thing, which I kind of get, I guess. I mean, this isn't an entirely smooth transition, but then there's this for a little bit, but then after, you know, what I assume they thought was the render distance and just what people will see, after that there's just a gap going all the way down to bedrock, and then there's just water onto bedrock. I have no idea how it happens that way, or if it does, or, you know, because it does happen this way, why exactly it happens in this particular way with the weird pattern, but it means there's just this entirely Dead Sea going on around everywhere else. But even more intriguing than the fact that, oh yeah, there's this Dead Sea, is the fact that there is ocean monuments around here. So I believe just over here, if I'm not mistaken, you'll be able to see an ocean monument. Again, they're entirely drained. There's nothing inside them besides Is it this way? It's probably this way. There's nothing inside the ocean monuments besides, like just, the blocks themselves. Obviously, there's no guardians or Elgardens, because that'd be a waste. But still, the fact that this is like some level of natural ocean, but yet, there's that going on. But even weirder than the ocean monuments, which I can't find because I thought there was one in this corner here, but I'm not entirely sure because the way the world's rendering is being pretty slow. But yeah, there are 3 ocean monuments around the edges of this map, and weirder than that, though, ocean monuments pretty natural stuff, is the fact that there is an end portal to be found around here. So as soon as the world actually generates, for some reason this is like hit the limits of what it can do, then you see here, just randomly, there is a end portal floating. And it makes sense if this was where the end was going to be and the rest got demolished, but this isn't actually where the end portal is meant to be on this world. If we throw an Eye of Ender, then you're going to see it actually goes over in that direction. So the actual end portal is somewhere to the south, east, southwest of the map, whereas the end portal itself is just kind of entirely separated from that. And as you can see, this is a naturally generating one that happens to have some of its, like lava turned into water. Again, no idea how this happens. Maybe this was like a basis for the map at some point, or maybe, someone just built this as like a little bit of a troll and they're like, aha, look, I can build myself a full end portal room. I can't tell you exactly what's going on here for sure, but it is a very bizarre thing. And in case you're curious, it's like, maybe this is hinting at the end. I did decide to check that, but it isn't too big of a deal. If you look inside the end, also, notice how in this texture pack, the eye is actually like blink. But yeah, if we go inside the end, which they have a cool portal, by the way, then you'll see that it is just another regular old end thing. So exactly what's going on here, slightly beyond me. But before we leave, let's quickly look at the end dragon, because I know in the Greek mythology mashup pack, it is a really cool dragon. So yeah, golden dragon flies through the sky and leads us nicely into the final battle map, which has an entirely secret area, actually. Okay, so here we are on Temple, one of the very first 6 maps ever, produced and released for battle. It was part of DLC 1, and therefore you probably played a decent amount of it. It seems to be, like a fan favorite, at least from the early days. Everyone always wants to play Temple. One of the things you might not have known about Temple is that these little grates around here, which always confuse me because they look like there's a whole other part of the map down there, actually are a hint at another part of the map. So just as a heads up, I actually learned this one from Echo, so big thanks to him for sharing that, because basically if you dig below the center, just a couple of blocks, then you'll find yourself in a whole second area. So yeah, the second area, I don't believe it is actually a spawn area like was theorized there, but I believe it was actually meant to be a part of the map, as a way to, like have a secret chest, or maybe even a rare chest, because as you can see, there is just a single chest going on here, so there's nothing going on there. There's no kind of spawn areas around the outside, but there is this whole like fleshed out down area of the temple, and what it makes me think is this map was originally intended to be a super vertical one, because again, you can even see there's like ways to get on top of these little things here. This map was probably intended to be a super vertical one at one point, because if we break through these things and we go back up to the surface, again, break through more of these, then you'd see that there would be, there'd be the bottom of the temple, there'd be the spawn area of the temple, there'd be this next layer up, which does still exist, and then finally at the top there'd be this one. And maybe they just figured that, yeah, that's too many layers, no one can tell where they are if they're underneath, and yeah, eventually they decided to lock these areas off, but it seemed very clear to me that they were going to be in use at one point, and this map was going to be more focused around the temple. The other thing that kind of hints me in that direction is the fact that if we go through some of these walls, I think a few of them aren't actually probably there, but if we go through some of these walls and just go right into the little thing, you can see how there's like some amount of the temple still being built. So here you can see it's actually removed. Actually, let's just go underneath this thing because we can see the whole thing. Again, really intriguing being underneath this map, but if we then break up over here, perhaps, at least one of these sides, yeah, this part of the temple was fully built, and this was how this, the thing was actually going to go. You're going to be able to go, up onto the, down these things like there, or you were just going to follow down like this. However, they did do a massive redesign, it seems, because that, that bottom room with the cool end portal that we've seen just went missing, and also these, little corner stairs things also went by the wayside. So I found that very intriguing personally, the fact that the map was going to be a giant temple and then probably not much else, and then kind of evolved into a temple which is the centerpiece and still the most important bit, but then also has some ruins around the outside which you can go around and do and stuff. So yeah, I found that rather interesting, and maybe you will do too. So before we leave this map, I will just quickly clarify that this one, at least to me at least, also hints of confusing stuff, because the way they made this jungle biome around the edge, I don't know why they need to do it this way, but as you can see, it kind of like juts in and out at almost random intervals. Like this bit here is jungle, and then that's not jungle. Exactly why that's the case, slightly beyond me. And also you can tell that this might be before they had particular tools, because they actually seem to build these bits by hand, like build a giant jungle and then just make it so that there's no way you could see anything but jungle, and it worked pretty well, it seems. So yeah, this is jungle, one of the again, everyone's favorite map, but not really mine. But it did have a whole bunch of secret areas, and it was going to be an entirely different map at some stage during its development, and I love seeing stuff like this about games, seeing how different they used to be, and here is just another case of that. So hopefully you did all enjoy today's video showing off the secret areas of 5 separate maps. If you did all like it, likely to let me know, because it helps out the channel, and let us know you do like these sorts of videos. Let me know if you do want to see outside more battle maps, or you want to see battle maps and all texture packs, because again, it's fun to do that in the files. Again, with the comments down below, you can let me know you'll see that. With that said, I hope you all enjoy the video, because I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.